of the City of Coolidge, Coolidge City Council. Call the meeting to order. First order of business is the invocation. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow our heads. Father, we just praise you. We thank you for this day that you've made. God, we pray for this meeting, that it will go smooth. God, that it will be peaceful, God. We pray for the city council. Pray for the mayor, city managers, all those in their prospective places. We pray even now for the city of Coolidge, God, that you will continue to bless it, continue to rain down upon it. We'll give your name the glory and praise for all that you do. In Jesus' name. Everyone say amen?
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Norma, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Jimmy Walker. Councilmember Tina Kaufman. Here. Councilmember Steve Hudson.
Here.
Mayor John Thompson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jackie Henry.
Here.
Councilmember Ben Navarro.
Here.
And Councilmember Tatiana Murieta. Here. Thank you. We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Norma. Under presentations, the first presentation, retirement and recognition for the K-9 police dog, Officer Bink.
Good evening.
Good evening, Chief.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, and council members. I would like to present to you our official retirement for K-9 Officer Bink, badge 182. If we could bring Bink up. And Mayor, if you could come down and present the certificate for us. Sergeant Alan Hoffman, could you come over here, please? Sergeant Hoffman was Bink's first handler, had him for about half the time, and Brad Fulton, Acting Sergeant Brad Fulton, is now his handler. Bink is retiring and living with Acting Sergeant Fulton as a house pet. He gets to wear his uniform one last time, though. And Bink gave us, a little over 7 years of service, wonderful 7 years of service. He's a little over 9 years old, about 9.5 years old, so he's actually a little past his prime. But without further ado, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Coolidge Police Department proudly presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Officer Bink, badge number 182. With great honor and recognition for your loyalty and dedication to the city of Coolidge, Arizona. K-9 Officer Bink, you will be greatly missed by the Coolidge Police Department. Over the years, you and K-9 handlers Hoffman and Fulton have been a great asset to our city and its communities. We wish you all the best in your retirement, Chief of Police Malinsky and Mayor Thompson. Thank you, guys.
It's a nice looking dog, huh? Look how alert he is.
Okay, hold on. Hold that pose. We can cut off a slice for him.
He's retired now. He doesn't know what to do with it.
It's a lovely peanut butter frosting.
Brad, have a nice ride home, by the way, with him. Yeah.
The mayor wants to take a picture.
Let me take a picture of him. I want to see old Bink again when he's playing golf.
Really?
That hurts that you just believe yourself.
I mean, you know.
Just say.
Just keeping it real.
Squeeze in there with you, Steve.
Sorry. It hurt his ears. CFDs.
Of course, I want to take a picture. My camera's still on selfie. I don't take selfies, so go figure.
That was great.
That cake made him crazy.
That's what he said. Thank
Must
you.
have been some catnip in that cake.
That's awesome.
Okay, we ready, Norma?
Yes.
All right. Gonna miss that dog. He got a lot of dope off the streets. That was a good canine right there. Okay. Item 5, monthly report and business spotlight recognitions by Coolidge Chamber of Commerce. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, and Council. What a great night to be here. I mean, that was fun. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our July member spotlight, Barnett's Better Buys and Coolidge Bookkeeping, Lynn Wright and Marilyn Mathis. They've been a part of the business for a long time, and they took over in January 2018, and now it's a both businesses are women-owned.
Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mayor Thompson and Vice Mayor. You want this here? Yeah. Okay. Thank you all for having us. My name is Lynn Wright. This is my business partner, Marilyn Mathis. We are the owners of Coolidge Bookkeeping and Barnett's Better Buys. Marilyn went to work for Steve Barnett 32 years ago, and I went to work for him about 14 years ago, and a couple of years ago he mentioned the word retirement, and we jumped. And so now we are the owners, and Marilyn will tell you a little bit about Barnett's. I'll tell you about Coolidge Bookkeeping. We are a full-service bookkeeping and tax operation. We have Marilyn, who is an enrolled agent, who can handle any really tricky, if you owe the IRS and need some help with that, she's the one you'd come to see. I'm also a tax preparer. She also does bookkeeping and taxes. I do bookkeeping and taxes, and I am a QuickBooks online professional advisor. And then we have Elisa Calleros, who is bilingual, and she is a I-10 certified acceptance agent. So if someone needs an I-10, you have 3 options. You can mail your original documents to the IRS and cross your fingers. You can go to the IRS and present these items, or you can come to our office and Elisa can certify all of these items, which is a wonderful service for our Hispanic community. And we are so excited. We just finished a great tax season. We each do a lot of bookkeeping, and it keeps us busy year-round, and we're excited to be in the community, and we are so excited to be involved with all the things that are happening in Coolidge. And I'm going to let Marilyn tell you about Barnett's.
Barnett's has been, Steve bought Barnett's from Daryl Sherrill in 1996. We do rent-to-own furniture and appliances. Retail sales and 90 days same as cash. We carry major appliances and dining room sets, living room sets, that kind of stuff, bedroom sets. And as we're continuing on, both of us, I think our main focus is Coolidge Bookkeeping at this time, and Barnett's is kind of just rolling along with the flow at this point.
It's kind of self-sustaining.
Yes, it is. It's, yeah, and we've got Christian to thank for that.
Thank you for having us.
Well,
Yes,
thank
you
you.
very much.
Congratulations.
And it just happens that we're going to have the shop logo tomorrow night at Barnett's. So it'll be a good night. Diamondback tickets be given away. I think we have like 4 sets of 4. So I have something really exciting to share with you tonight. I took the opportunity. We have new leadership at the Open Hands Opportunity Program. Diane retired. I was caught off guard. Friday they had a get-together, and so I contacted them because I wanted to get to know the new people in town, and I got to talk to Angela Schofield, and I'd like to introduce, she's the new director of OHOP.
Okay, good evening, Mayor Thompson and council members. My name is Angela Schofield. I'm very excited to be here and take over this organization from Diane. We're really excited because this organization has really good bones and really good structure put in place. Kind of our vision for it, we're still kind of working through everything as of right now because it's only been about a week. But kind of the vision we see for it is just really creating awareness for what the veterans need. So we really want to kind of shed that spotlight on it. And my husband actually played in the NFL for 8 years. It's such a privilege to have that platform and be able to use that platform because that wasn't just for us. That's reason why we're so happy to be here, and this was a place that God put us to be in position to do so. So we look forward to really working. We're also teaming up with Living Word through Florence. That's going to kind of help us bring in volunteers as well and kind of get this thing rolling between the food bank and our Kennedy House and different stuff like that. So we're super excited to be here. If there's any questions that you guys have for us, please reach out and let us know. Say something? Go ahead.
Hello there. Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. I'm her father. My name is Pastor Rodney Hurd. My wife here is Pastor Linda. We pastor at Living Word Florence, and I am a Vietnam-era veteran, so my heart is deeply sunk in this. But not only from that, we also, from a spiritual point of view, with the Living Word Florence, we are really engaging in this area. Especially in the prisons, we have information that is being given to the prisoners. We just had a meeting just last week with the Reentry Board because we are embarking on entering a apprenticeship program through the reentry programs, and we're looking to also enter into the federal prisons. This is being done for the reason of having those inmates when they get out. That they will have jobs. Our plan is to really keep them here in the area. So we're embarking upon those things, and we are getting information. Not only just information as far as to help them to have encouragement for the future for themselves, but we're also embarking on getting clothing into the reentry program, books. And also they are opening the doors for us to do the teaching. So that's why we're really, our hearts are here. And so Living Word Florence is planted here. Our main campus is out of Mesa. We have several campuses, but our purpose is here in this area. And this is my wife, Pastor Linda. I'll let her speak.
Good evening, Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members, and guests. As we've said, this is really exciting for us. My husband and I, we worked in the Coolidge area and Florence area for like 3 years. We have a roofing business where we inspect roofs when there's hailstorms. So we've done like 95% of the homes here with a covering over the homes. But God set us up now where we have like a spiritual covering over the city of Florence and Coolidge. And then with our daughter and her husband, OB, as far as the Veteran Center, we're really expecting great things to happen in this city and in the town of Florence. And again, we're so excited and just to be here tonight. Thank you guys for inviting us. Thank you. God bless you.
Well, thank you. Welcome to Coolidge. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. I met your daughter last week. I'm trying to talk her husband into enrolling in Coolidge High School. We need all the help we can get. So, well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Mr. Miller's our city manager. If you guys need anything, you know where to find him. Okay, Lynn.
Wow, just more great things in Coolidge. To go on with our reinvestments for May, we have Green Tree Inn, Thai American Family Insurance, Ho Cam Irrigation and Drainage, Shelton Cook Real Estate Services, Brown's Amusement, State Farm Insurance, J. Warren Funeral Services, Rise a Rehabilitation Specialist, Coolidge Veterinarian, AC Sanitation, DAV Pinal County, Spectrum Print and Embroidery, Stinger Bridge and Iron, and new for May would be S Power as a new member. Our walk-ins are up. We had 660 in May. Our phone calls are at 263, down just a little bit. We sent out 2 relocation packages. One's to Bisbee, Arizona, and Peoria, Illinois. Top state that visited us was Nebraska. Top country would be Canada. May building permits were at 42, and the valuation is $2,477,000. So year to date we have 215 permits. Casa Grande Ruins May visitation was at 4,745. Year to date, 40,402. That's a 44, almost 45% increase. I'm telling you, the free thing, it made a huge difference. It just blew my mind. I was concerned about it, but I think that was the right move. Membership luncheon coming up July 17th, end of summer, and we'll be working on the census on that. End of summer reading blast, January 18. We'll have our Welcome Back Coolidge Schools and Cabot on July 18th. Welcome Back Imagine on the 22nd. Project Safety at Canyon Creek Coronado Desert View Apartments on the 27th. Trying to hurry through there. Any questions?
Thank you. I think you covered it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving to call of the public. That is the portion of the meeting where if anybody has anything they'd like to say or to address the council, please step forward to the podium. State your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes to tell us what you think. I don't see anybody charging up there, so I'm going to move out of call to the public. And approval of the minutes, discussion and action. Item 6, the City Council regular meeting of May 28th, 2019. Item 7, City Council regular meeting June 10th, 2019. Item 8, City Council special meeting June 24th, 2019. Item 9, City Council regular meeting June 24th, 2019. Are there any corrections or comments regarding any of these meetings? If not, I need a motion to act.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion we approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Moving to the business items for consent. I'm going to, at this time, pull item number 10 off of the consent agenda. We'll hear that after we do the consent agenda. items 11, 12, 13, and 14, unless any member of the council wants to pull 11, 12, 13, or 14 off the consent agenda. Do I see any? No? No? Tina, no? Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and read. Consent agenda item 11. Consider approval of the sole preferred vendor list for purchasing services or products when there is only one vendor that provides a specific service or product, or where it is in the best interest of the city not to seek bids, with the understanding that the council revisit this list at any time. Item 12. Consider approval of entering into a high-intensity drug traffic area grant agreement between the City of Tucson and the City of Coolidge Police Department for continued participation in the Pinal County Drug Task Force Program, number HT 19-2926. Item 13. Consider approval of entering into a cooperative purchase agreement between the City of Coolidge and DBA Construction, Inc. through a City of Scottsdale contract for sidewalk ramp concrete work on 3rd Street and 4th Street between Byrd Avenue and Hess Avenue for an amount not to exceed $200,000, waiving the sale bid requirements in the best interest of the city, and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract documents. Item 14. Consider approval of entering into a lease agreement between the City of Coolidge and Boeing Company for the purpose of leasing a 100 by 100 foot parcel of land at the Coolidge Municipal Airport. Okay, if there's no discussion, I need a motion to do something.
Mayor, move to approve items number 11, 12, 13, and 14 as read.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second on 11, 12, 13, and 14. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those pass. I'll go back to item 10. Resolution number 19-13. A resolution of the mayor and the city council of the City of Coolidge, Arizona, supporting the Casa Grande National Monument boundary expansion. Discussion and action. I see some individuals in the audience that traveled a long way. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. My name is Dr. Doug Craig. I'm the president of the Friends of Casa Grande Ruins, and I'm here with the acting superintendent, Ray O'Neill. And what we thought we would do is I would give you a little background on the efforts to reintroduce a bill in Congress to expand the boundaries of Casa Grande Ruins, and then Superintendent O'Neill would talk briefly about the economic benefits of the ruins for the Coolidge community. But I just wanted to make sure that you were all aware of what these expansion efforts entailed and to address any issues or concerns that you might have about them. And what I've handed out to each of you is sort of a two-page, the first page is a summary of information sheet on Casa Grande and the proposed expansion. And the second page is a map showing the properties that are under consideration. And I'm not going to go into much detail, especially since you were already going to, you already had it on the consent agenda anyway. But this will roughly double the size of Casa Grande Ruins. It will transfer administrative jurisdiction of 11 acres of federal land to the Park Service. And there will be private land that will also be acquired from willing owners, I might add, of about 200 acres. And then it will provide authorization for the Park Service to enter into agreement with the state of Arizona to cooperatively manage approximately 200 acres of state trust land around the Adamsville site, near where Adamsville Road comes into 287. And I just want to emphasize that in the past, this bill was first introduced in 2010, then 2013 efforts were made to reintroduce it, although it didn't get very far, but it looks like this time it will get further, or at least that's our hope. Third time's a charm. And that it's had strong bipartisan support previously. And I'm here to answer any questions, but the main thing I want is sort of allay any concerns that you might have having to do with the north-south corridor or expressway, is that this should have no impact at all on that. The Adamsville site, which is sort of between the two alternatives, will not affect the proposed alternatives they're talking about. But again, I would be glad to answer any questions, but I know you're sort of moving things along, so I won't sort of dwell on things. I'll just sort of turn things over to Superintendent O'Neill to talk about Casa Grande ruins and the benefits.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, were there some questions?
Well, no, I just wanted to, the council isn't as familiar with, Dr. Craig and I have met and discussed this. This item appeared before the Board of Supervisors a month
ago?
Well, yeah, but before that it was on their agenda for approval, and they talked to the city manager and myself. We found out about it the day before it was going to be on the agenda the first time at the Pinal County Board of Supervisors, and we had not really been made aware of it. And so they continued it so we could look into it. Our main concern, of course, was the north-south freeway. And so when it was determined, after we looked into it, that there was it wasn't going to impact that route, then we certainly had no opposition to it. We've always supported the ruins, but we wanted to make sure that the freeway wasn't going to be impacted. So then Dr. Craig and I met, and then I asked him to come here to address you guys so you would know what was going on, and that this isn't the first time that there's been some conversations, but we're finally getting it together. So,
and I should note that it was supported unanimously by the Board of Supervisors at their last meeting. I went and gave a little presentation there as well, and they too had some questions about the expressway, and again, it had unanimous support.
As I talked to Supervisor Rios and Supervisor Smith, they were kind enough to do what they had to do until we found out what we needed to know. So I appreciate your efforts, and I want to thank both you guys. Free's a great price. Let's ride that as long as we can. But go ahead. Yeah, I'm saying go ahead with your presentation.
Sure. So I'm Ray O'Neill. I'm the acting superintendent of Casa Grande Ruins. I've been at Casa Grande for several months, and we expect to have a full-time superintendent at the monument by sometime in early October. And my usual job is at Saguaro National Park. I've been with the Park Service for over 30 years. And one of the things I can say is that we're very fortunate at Casa Grande Ruins in that we're not in the place that many national parks are in, parks like Zion National Park and Yosemite, where they have so many folks showing up that they're really not sure what to do with them. We're not in that place. Instead, we're in a place where we aren't charging entrance fees anymore, and we welcome additional folks coming to the monument. And if we can double the size of the monument, we'll see where all of that goes. Every few years, the National Park Service looks to do a study to look at the economic impact of the 400 National Park Service sites economically on the communities that surround them. And the report showed that the 63,000 visitors that we had to Casa Grande Ruins last year spent about $3.7 million in local communities and supported spending from employees at those different institutions as well as with those visitors, supported a benefit to the local economy of about $5.5 million. And we're ready to do more. Thank you for the opportunity to say hello to all of you.
Well, thank you, and thanks for filling in. I would point out that no bear has ever eaten anybody at our park. Well, that's right. Well, yeah, but no bears. Okay, so I need a motion to do something with resolution number 19-13.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion we approve resolution number 19-13 as read.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second, Norma.
Councilmember Murrieta?
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Henry?
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaufman?
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move into business under regular items. Item number 15, ordinance number 19-11, an ordinance of the City of Coolidge, Pinal County, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of the property within the City of Coolidge, subject to taxation of a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from funds from various bond redemption for the purpose of paying bonded indebtedness by providing the funds for general municipal expenses for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020, with a rate of 1.8759% and an amount of $944,800. Was that you?
Yes, Honorable Mayor,
Oh,
that's
Norma,
me
thank
again.
you.
Vice
Okay.
Mayor Henry and members of the council, before you tonight for consideration and adoption is setting the tax rate levy for the current 1920 fiscal year. The City Council chose not to post possible increases to this year's property taxes. Therefore, there are two options to consider tonight. The first option is keeping the tax levy rate the same at 1.8759 per $100 of assessed valuations, or option 2 that sets the rate at 1.9073, which is the maximum tax rate that can be imposed without a truth and taxation hearing. And this is based on values of new construction. So staff is recommending option 1 to keep the tax rate the same at the 1.8759 to collect $944,800 for this year's budget. So staff is asking for approval and adoption of the ordinance, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Now, Norma, what would the dollar amount be at the 1.973?
At the 1973,
Yeah.
it would be, hold on, I got that amount right here for you. Yes, Councilmember Hudson, Mayor Thompson, members, that would be $960,602.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Is that it? Down here? Well, I think, myself, option 1, I think is the one that we discussed through the budget process in light of things that are going on in other venues in town with other overrides, potentially looking at raising taxes and our citizens getting beat to death in different areas. This one stays the same. I think that would help out quite a bit, considering we're on the ballot for
Special bond election.
Special bond
Yes,
election.
in November.
I mean, you can't keep hitting the citizens everywhere and asking them to keep voting to increase what they're going to have to pay the government. So that's just my 2 cents worth, and I don't know what everybody else thinks.
I'm in favor of option 1.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, then I need a motion to do something.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion that we adopt option 1 as read and approve ordinance number 19-11 as read.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
Councilmember Hudson,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilmember Murrieta,
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Henry,
Yes.
and Mayor Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16, consider approval of entering into an apparatus purchase contract between Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus, LLC, and the City of Coolidge for the purchase of one 2014 Pierce F550 mini pumper apparatus for the sum of $140,000. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor Henry, council members. Before you have all the information in your packet, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have concerning this lease purchase agreement.
Chief, the way it looks to me is they're going to come over here, and when they take possession of it, It is their baby. They're going to drive it back, and that's kind of
They'll-
the same way we did when we went and got
Correct. They will be responsible for the purchase of the vehicle, the full price of the vehicle that's stated in the contract, plus it's their responsibility for ranging transportation for the vehicle. The vehicle is completely clear right now. We've satisfied all requirements within the purchase contract as far as providing a certified pump test with the vehicle. That's within 30 days. It just got completed last week. So the purchase contract should be completed by July 31st.
So the 140,000, that's the most, evidently, they were the only company that was interested in buying it, Mark.
Correct. We had opened up the sale for this vehicle through a bid process. We received no bids after the bid time period had run out. Brindley Mountain had contacted me about purchasing the vehicle. We eventually came to an agreement between the discussions between myself, the city manager, and Gabe Garcia about what we are willing to accept as far as the price, and this is the price that we all agreed upon as far as their purchase and taking possession of it.
And I know that we financed this vehicle when we originally bought it, so it is free and clear. We don't owe any money against it.
Correct.
And I think we paid $400,000 for that thing.
Actually, well, not quite that much. The original bid price, which I have the bid book here, was $315,000. But by the time we had taxes and stuff like that, the total purchase price of the vehicle is $323,000 and some change.
And I know that you're not, Gabe's not here, but the vehicle's been depreciated out, so it's not like we lost that much money.
No, this vehicle is actually it's a 2014, but it's a very, very specialized vehicle, and this is something that they're willing, they need, and they can provide the market for. If we were to try and hold on to this and sell it on our own, it would just continue to depreciate because they have a much wider market than we do.
And are they going to wire transfer the money?
They will. It'll either be a wire transfer or a cashier's check, which is stated within the contract.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Okay, I don't think we have anything further.
Thank you.
If there's nothing further, I need a motion to act.
Mayor,
Ms. Vice Mayor.
move to approve item number 16 as read.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 17, resolution number 19-14, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Coolidge, Arizona, adopting the land use assumption and infrastructure improvements plan dated March 19th, 2019. Good evening, Mr. Lopez.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Henry, council members. If you recall, I was before you on May 28th, and we went over the impact fee schedule and the next steps we were going to take. And so this is just the next step in that process. So on May 28th, we started the comment period. And up to now, we had no public comment on this item, on the impact fees. And so the next step, according to state statutes, is the council is authorized to approve the land use assumption and infrastructure improvement plan that is a plan that was put together by the consultant, Tischler Bice. So that's the next step in the process. And then what we'll do after that is the next meeting will be, the next time we do a notice of intent will be Wednesday, July 17th. And then August 26th on a Monday, we'll have a public hearing for the new impact fees. And then on Monday, October 14th, according to the schedule, there'll be an action before you for council adoption of the impact fees. And then with the impact fees, if approved, taking effect January 1st, 2020. So today, you're just approving the adoption of the plan. You're not approving the impact fee. So we're just the next step in the process. And I'll answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Lopez?
Mayor.
You know, I've read this, your plan here at least 3 times. and I find it to be very interesting, but I do have a few questions. You know, looking at this plan, I see that they didn't put anything in there for anticipated new parkland purchases over the next 10 years. So the parkland component has been excluded and the city's development fees calculated from the calculations. And they're assuming, if you go to page 247, they're assuming, I believe, that any developer will just donate. But Mr. Miller and I have been discussing a piece of property that nobody can donate because it's already in the city, and it already has listed by a real estate agent, and it may be an excellent place for a new regional park. Because I think in 10 years, Coolidge is going to be quite a bit bigger than it is now. We had this discussion last time you were here on this plan, that I think they're going to build more than 68 houses a year in Coolidge from here forward. We've already done over 100 permits this year, and we're only halfway through the year. Now, we're not in Maricopa and some of these other places, but I believe, and they based it on 68 houses a year, didn't they, sir? I think. And I know you didn't write it. I'm just saying. And I know you can adjust this plan every 5 years.
That's correct, Mayor.
So you think the plan, their reasoning could have been, because I notice everything kind of matches up. They're not off by much on what they anticipate we will receive in revenue and what they anticipate in cost, even though I see that, you know, there's a big difference. I mean, in lanes, even 31 lanes on their side, and Sun Corridor and some of the other programs have like 86 lanes that, or 68 or 86 lanes of roadway at $950,000 a lane that they think. So there's a big discrepancy on things in these plans. So I think that's maybe why that they're going to allow it to adjust every 5 years per the statute. But what we would have to come up with the money, because it's not going to be in there. If we wanted to buy a tract of land and put a new regional park, it's not going to be accounted for. We couldn't buy it with impact fees anyway.
Mayor Thompson, there are components within the impact fees where we can get paid back for certain things. I believe City Manager Miller may chime in, but so we can go in and do some things that, as long as they support new growth, we can collect impact fees, and we may be able to go back and capture the, you know, what that cost is. So we'd have to work with Carson Bice to make sure, the consultant, and of course our attorneys, to make sure that's possible. But there is a component in it that lets us do that. And obviously when we have new development come in, we do look at you know, infrastructure that is parks and open space. It's part of the PADs that come in. So a lot of the PADs that we have already, the planned area developments, already have an outdoor component. They have tot lots. They have different things they have to put in as part of the development. Or they would have to come back to you and change that. So they can't just on their own decide, oh, I'm not going to do what I said originally. So those components are built into a lot of the developments we have on the books right now, and we'll continue that. If they change, you know, if they look at changing it, they'd have to come back through the process to do that. But so then again, as Mayor, as you mentioned, we can come back in 5 years and readjust it, because what we wanted to do, I think, is stimulate growth. And I think one thing you as the council expressed was that you wanted us to make sure that we can get things going and we can get permits out the door, and so to get the growth really started in our community. And that's what we did when we were meeting with consultants, and we said right now we think the plans we had originally were a little bit overzealous, of course, and nobody knew the economy was going to do what it did. But in this way we can start lower. We'll be lower than all the surrounding communities by a couple $1,000s per house. And City Manager Miller has talked to Arizona Water. They're going to for 6 months, I believe, is reduce the impact fee from their water meter, and I think that'll help also with the home builders. So there's a lot of activity that's going on to stimulate the economy and get the housing going. So these components, we know we love the parks, of course, and just like everybody else, but we saw that this is an opportunity to get everything going, and then we can adjust as we go forward. So that's how it was developed. And City Manager Miller, if you have anything to...
They might add, the Arizona Water Company, they didn't really put a timeline on that. They may implement a connection fee in the future, but for the time being, they're not charging a connection fee, which is pretty significant. If I remember right, it was around $3,000 or more. And so they were very generous in basically helping to stimulate a little activity here by eliminating that fee for the time being. As things start picking up again, they might have to re-implement that fee just to kind of keep up with the infrastructure that they're going to have to provide to support the new growth as well. Mayor, I know I've been talking a little bit about the park idea, parkland, but I do think I agree with Mr. Lopez in that we can do a buy-in approach. We can come back sooner than 5 years if we need to, and do an adjustment to a buy-in approach for a park component if we decide on a regional park spot.
So what, is there a time, is it like the general plans and the master plan? Do we have a certain time we have to have it in by every year, or you missed your boat?
No, not on this. You can do it. You can adjust your impact fees anytime you want. We generally do it every 5 years because there's a cost of doing it. But if you focus in, maybe if we approve this and things are really starting to pick up, and the council makes some decisions on maybe a regional park idea of some sort in the community just to provide greater recreational amenities for our citizens, I think we could come back and ask Carson to focus in on that component and reintroduce it and have it'll take a while before you could reestablish that fee like it is this. It takes us a good 9 months to get it going, but you can get a buy-in, have them, we have a buy-in approach like Gilbert's talking about where you can, future growth can pay for that.
Because that was my concern, because like I said, last time I mentioned that I think that we're going to build more than 68 houses a year here, for one thing, and for two, the roads. I'm sitting on CAG and Sun Corridor and going to those meetings, and you go to the meetings with me. I think we're going to need more than, in 10 years, 31 lanes of traffic. And I just think that I don't know how often the county is going to come along due to the air quality problems and paved roads for us.
On this, on that impact fee on the transportation component, the transportation component that I think that they've got there does not include 31 lane miles. That fee would be astronomical if you were to come in.
It's $950,000 for one lane.
So I think this plan only contemplates over the next 5 or so years that we're going to build a couple of miles of lanes is all. Fortunately, a lot of the lanes that are being paved right now, and I'll talk a little bit about this under the director's report later, we're getting some revenue, actually some assistance from the county on air quality issues. Nafsiker Road is a good example. We're going to see some roadway improvements in the area under air quality funds from the county.
So I see some things with this, but I also see that the money that we're going to generate is very, very close in most cases to the money that's going to be estimated to be spent over 10 years. So if somebody was to challenge these in court, it would look pretty good. Although I do think that some of the industrial and the commercial, man, they really dropped those. They dropped some of them over 50%.
Yeah, they did, which is really good. Actually, it's really good for us. That's where the city wants to encourage more industrial commercial development. You can't burden the residential properties with all of the infrastructure that the city's going to need. But I think the way this report was done, and by the way, Tischler Bice is really one of the leaders in the country of impact fee development. They're very conservative in their approach, and I don't think they've ever actually been sued or lost a lawsuit over their impact fee. So they're very conservative in nature. They're not going to put us in a predicament where we're actually, overcharging or getting away with something that we shouldn't be getting away with.
Well, my personal opinion, but I'm not going to state it on the record, but it's just very, because there's 3 different methods of calculating these rates. And so I guess you can use whatever method looks appropriate to get you where you need to be.
And what we're talking about tonight is the land use assumptions. We had to make some land use assumptions, and you're right. I think perhaps given our history this year, we may be developing more than 68 new homes per year. We might hit 100 this year. We might hit 100 next year or 200. depending on what happens with some of our economic development efforts that we're seeing and hearing about. There's a big spotlight on Coolidge right now. Doesn't mean that we can't come back and readjust these if we really miss the mark on those. But keep in mind, over the last 5 years, we were predicting we were going to build 150 houses over the last 5 years, and we built less than 10 over the last 5 years. So
Gilbert managed to get that one single wide trailer.
he did get a single, he got a single wide trailer.
He worked like crazy to get that one put in.
Still working on Peter Piper.
Still
For all the
not
good
here,
places
Gil.
we have really good pizza places already in town. So I'm just.
But those were my concerns. Was I just thought some of their predictions were fairly low, and so that hurt us on the projected revenue. So anyway, we got to have one. It's the law now. So it's kind of like a lot of things the legislature does to us. We don't have a whole lot of choice in it. So anybody have anything they want to say? Mr. Navarro, I know you're well educated in this. Would you like to?
Kind of strong words right there.
I know it. I know it.
I'm getting there, though.
I know you are. Anybody have any comments? No? Down here, Steve? Okay, if there's nothing further, then I guess we need something on this resolution.
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion we approve resolution 19-14 as read.
Is there a second? Okay. Motion is second. Norma?
Vice Mayor Henry,
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro,
Yes.
Councilmember Murrieta,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilmember Hudson,
Yes.
and Mayor Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, report from the mayor and city council manager.
I got nothing.
I have nothing to add.
I have nothing.
I got something.
All right.
I met with Miss Baker over at the library this past week. She gave me the nickel tour of it, and just kind of opened my eyes. I hadn't been to the library in years. Last time I was in the library, I was telling her I was still using the Dewey Decimal System, the card catalog, and everything. So it's changed a lot. There's more there than just books. They have a lot of programs, really educational. It's changed quite a bit. So if you guys are looking for something to do, there's always something going on over there at the library. They'd love to see you. They got lots going on, so you might want to take a minute and go check it out.
Mr. Miller?
My daughter recently moved to Coolidge, and she told me the other day she went to the library and was very impressed by the library and the services they provide for the young people and adults across all ages. And the only other thing I just mentioned a while ago, we did have some good news. One of our employees, Jeremy Hansen, went out and put some traffic counters on Nafziger Road, and the traffic counters established a threshold that basically said there's enough traffic on that dirt road to cause an air quality concern, and the county does have some air quality funding to help improve those dirt roads, by resurfacing. Our commitment in that process is to use our staff, our crews, to go out there and do the road base, get the road prepped for their chip or double chip or whatever they're going to put on it. And so that is good news. Nafziger has been a problem road for some time. The rains, even RAD, have a very difficult time, and we had some difficult time getting our garbage trucks down the road when it's really muddy. So this will be a major improvement for Nafziger north of Coolidge Avenue there, past the K, what's it called out there, the other
It's between, isn't it between Vaca Inn and Coolidge?
Yes, the unimproved part there. Yeah, so that'd be very, very
north-south.
good.
They're going to pave, that's the section they're going to pave.
Yeah, chip it.
Yes. I don't have anything else, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. I don't have much. Thanks to 4th of July, I didn't have nearly as many meetings. I did go to the CAG meeting, the Sun Quarter MPO Executive Committee meetings, and Mr. Miller and I think Tim Hansen and Mr. Lopez and I sat down with an individual who wants to put a large number of apartments in Coolidge.
Workforce housing. Huh? Workforce housing, I think he calls it.
Workforce housing, yes. A large number of them, workforce housing down close to where Nicola's going to be. So,
Ooh, that'll help the prisons.
It will.
Well, it's gonna be right across the street from there, so, but,
Can we get a QT?
and he's moving along very rapidly. Didn't he have something he had to get in already, Gil, or pretty close to it? Yeah, he's on schedule.
Yeah, he's scheduled, he's getting ready to do a general plan amendment and, annexation. We're going to be considering annexation of the property into the city. It's within our planning area boundary. He reported to us that he originally went to Eloy thinking that it was in Eloy's jurisdiction, and they said, we love your plan, but the bad news, you got to go see Coolidge because it's surrounded on 3 sides by Coolidge, east of Highway 87. So we're going to be working with him on the the annexation petition, on a general plan amendment, eventually a site plan and rezoning of the property, to make sure that the intended use is appropriate there. He was meeting with Global Water Resources in a meeting today, a conference call. I was on the call with them. Obviously, they're going to be the water and wastewater provider. Apartments or any kind of housing will not work without water and wastewater. So I know Global's working very hard, not only with this individual now that's just come to the scene, but also with Nicola and with Jakob Anderson to make sure we have water and wastewater services to that area. So.
Yep, and so we're starting to see a lot more of that type of activity. People coming in that are very serious about getting things done. So that's all we've got for right now. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Choose which one you want, Norma. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you very much.